Hello and welcome back to the Euro Trips channel. We are here for our second instalment of our NFL Stadium tier lists. We're doing a three-parter series ranking NFL stadiums for different things. Our first part, which was out 2 weeks ago, do check out the video. It is a video based on atmosphere NFL stadiums. And our second part, which is today's video, is going to be all about how stadiums look aesthetically, so how it looks from the outside and from the in. If you don't know my story, I've been to 21 NFL games in 3 months in the 2022 NFL season, and once more in the 2019 season when I watched the Patriots host the Chiefs. So I've been to a lot of NFL stadiums, and I'd like to say I've got a good account and good knowledge of these stadiums, and I'd like to bring you guys my take on what I think NFL stadiums are like to experience. So yeah, aesthetically, it's things, just about, how it looks from your seat, how it looks from the outside, just all around just the best stadiums to look at and the best stadiums in the NFL in that sense. So we're going to start off with, I'm going to put this in average. Houston Texans, the NRG Stadium. I saw them, the Houston Texans take on the Philadelphia Eagles, and it was a stadium which had bad atmosphere purely because they had the World Series in Houston on the same day, which obviously had both Philly and Houston playing in both sports in the same evening. But it wasn't bad to look at. I can see why Super Bowl 51 was played there because it is a great stadium. But at the same time, I wouldn't say I was sitting there and blown away by it. The subway we had from where our Airbnb was to the Houston just downtown itself, you passed it every day, and it was nice. It was good. You thought, oh, that's a nice stadium. But in truth be told, every NFL stadium is big. This stadium wasn't bad, wasn't great. It's just very much in the average column. And there are five categories for this tier list. We've got elite, very good, average, naff, and not available, which basically means I haven't been to the stadium. Same categories as our last video. Indianapolis Colts, the Lucas Oil Stadium, a stadium that I actually have a little cup from. Still waiting to give it to Naeem, Colts fan. Obviously, you guys know from the channel. So want to give him that because he would very much like to have that. I was critical of the atmosphere in the previous video, but you can't fault how it looks from the outside. It's edging towards one of these two. Is it elite? Is it very good? I would love to put it in elite, but I think it's just missing out at very good. I think it was really good, and I think it was an amazing thing to look at. But I just think it wasn't quite in elite. But yeah, still, very very good experience. And it's even though I dismissed the atmosphere, it's still a stadium that I've got very high regards for just how it looks all around. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns. Now, this is actually one of the stadiums I didn't go to a game in, but I did go from the outside and have a look from the outside. And I've got to say, yeah, pretty much average again. It was nice to walk around. And I am planning to go to a game now at some point because I didn't have time to do it this time. But for me, I still thought it was okay, and still thought there was snow around it, which made it quite nice. And there was but yeah, I wouldn't say really it was in the very good or elite column. I think it's really edging more towards naff than it is very good. So for me, I'm putting that in average. Our first elite, actually got our first two elites in the Dallas Cowboys AT&T Stadium and Lambeau Field, home of the Green Bay Packers. So AT&T Stadium for me had everything. It had the atmosphere, and it had the looks and the aesthetic and stuff, and it was just a fantastic stadium to look at. Watched them, take on the Indianapolis Colts in a really high-scoring game of absolute thrashing from the Cowboys. But yeah, I can't really fault it. You walk in, and what strikes you straight away is basically just how big the stadium is. You know from the TV how big it is. You know it's big, but you go in there itself, and you just can't help but just fall in love with the stadium. Did a stadium tour the next day, got on the field, which was a great experience. Caught a ball in the end zone in the stadium, which I'll always carry to my grave. But for me, it's just, and you got the big screen in the middle as well. It's just a fantastic stadium, and it's just a fantastic experience. And for me, you can't put this anywhere but elite. And the same goes for Lambeau Field, historic stadium. Did the stadium tour the day before as well. A stadium that is basically a mecca for NFL stadiums. It's like what the new camp is for football fans, or it's basically everything you expect and more. I mean, it's it's an old school stadium. I love old school stadiums. It's got the aluminium seats, it's got the history, and I think it's just a fantastic experience. I walked in. Shout out to Ash in the NFL, who I went with the game. We both walked in, and instantly you get bit where you go, you're in the bit where by the drinks and the food, and then you go through the stands into your seat, and first thing you see is the whole stadium, and you're just blown away instantly, and it's like I'm finally here, and it is just a fantastic, fantastic stadium and a fantastic experience. And I will say to anyone who's a Packers fan or NFL fan, I would highly recommend this stadium because it's it's just fantastic, and it really is one of the best I went to for how it looks. Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the TIAA Bank Field saw them take on the New York Giants. Of course, both made the playoffs this season. A very good game as well, one of the best games I saw out there. But in terms of how it looks, I'm going to put it in very good. I'll put it very good. I think that it was a stadium which surprised me a lot because I was going there purely because I was in the area and I was in Florida anyway. And I'd not been to stadium, and I knew there was a pool on the side, which I was actually quite near that, and it was quite cool to see that. And you walk in, and instantly what you hear is Gangster's Paradise. You feel like really uplifted when you hear that, and you're walking into your seat. It was a hot day, it was where the seats are very good as well, and it is just a really cool stadium. And a little other additional reason why it's such a cool stadium is that they actually show Red Zone in the stadium. So, in between plays, I was just watching Red Zone. So I rarely left. I didn't leave my seat once. Didn't leave it once because I had my drinks. I had the water that I bought because it was such a hot day. Had my sun lotion, whatever. But in between plays, you're looking for something to do, and you could just watch Red Zone, and it was great. You're just watching all the games. So for me, yeah, it's a really good stadium, very good, and one that probably surprised me the most. Next up is the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs. I, spoke a lot about the atmosphere there, and I put it in elite, and it was the best for that. I'm going to put it in very good when it comes to aestheticness because it wasn't. It was a great stadium to be in, but I wouldn't quite say it was in the same level as the Packers or Cowboys. For me, I think it's just below that, and I think it's that's not a knock on the stadium. It's still a very good stadium to go to. But I think this is better out there, and I think that it's very much as close as it can be to being in the elite category without actually being in the elite category. So for me, fantastic. Now this is the second one of the two that I went to that I didn't actually go to a game and just saw from the outside, and it's going to be my first naff. I'm really sorry to all Commanders fans who are watching this video. For me, I always knew it wasn't a great stadium. This is why I didn't go to a game there. But for me, it wasn't terrible. I mean, I've been to worse stadiums in sports, but for me, this probably was one of the worst to look at. For me, it just didn't seem like there was anything to it. There was no character. There was nothing really that I saw from this that really, that I saw go, oh wow, I really want to go to the stadium. But yeah, for me, it's a stadium that I, highly think that people should go to, and I think I do want to go to a game there. But at the same time, I do think it looked pretty rubbish to me, and I didn't think anything of it. Next up is 2-1. Of course, both the Rams and the Chargers both play at SoFi Stadium. Now, where's this going to go? Yeah, for me, I think I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put it in very good. I'm going to put it in very good. I don't think it's quite as good as people make out on TV. It looks amazing on TV, and I just don't think it's quite, quite in that level. But at the same time, it is still a great stadium, and it is fantastic. It really is. It's very newly built, of course. And we had very good seats. Shout out to Tyler Lawrence for that one. But for me, yeah, it is just a very good stadium, and I think that. Obviously, I went to watch Chargers Dolphins, so I was very much, had a horse in the race in this game. But for me, yeah, it was good. It was very good, and it was a massive stadium. When you walk in, you are just blown away, and you can see it obviously from way beyond where your seat is. You can see it from when you first walk in. But yeah, it is one. It was definitely the worst stadium to try and get out of. The Uber was a pretty nasty experience. So for me, it's still very good. My first not available, the Las Vegas Raiders, a stadium I hope to go to at some point if they are, not as expensive as they make out to be. But for me, I can't say anything more. Didn't go to the stadium. Hard Rock Stadium. Now, this is, of course, is the one that is home of my team, the Miami Dolphins. As you can see from my hat. I'm really sorry. Again, I'm putting it in average. I put the atmosphere in average. I'm putting the stadium in average. It was, I didn't go to it thinking it's the best stadium in the world, and I had a very good time. It was my first time going to a home game, and I loved every minute of it. And one of my favourite stadiums to go to in that sense. I was going to my team playing at home for the first time. It was my third time seeing them play, but I got to be honest. The stadium was not anything special. It was good, and it was amazing to be around Dolphins fans and have a sea of Dolphins fans around me, but I can't say it was great because it wasn't. It was just very much middle tier when it came to stadium. But one stadium that is definitely not mid tier is my third elite stadium of this video. Minnesota Vikings, for me, I think was the best to look at. I think it was the best to look at. It was fantastic. I mean, you can see from our previous videos just how good that was. It is a fantastic experience. It's a sea of purple. The atmosphere was good as well. I mentioned that in the previous video, but to look at from the outside initially was fantastic. But you go in the stadium and it's just unbelievable. It really is. And yeah, I really can't speak highly of it. You got the skull Viking chant, you got the big horn, which we saw, as we were walking up to our seat. And yeah, it's just a fantastic, and you're high up, but you can see everything. And it's just, you see the whole stadium around you. You've got all of these Vikings fans. And then on top of that, you can see the city of Minnesota from your seat, especially where we were. We had the view of that from our seat. We were behind the goalposts, and it's just a fantastic stadium. I really think it's the best to look at in the NFL. Mile High, or Empower Field at Mile High, average for me. Very nice stadium, as they all are, but for me, nothing blew me away. And that's all I can say. Another one of our not availables is the Arizona Cardinal Stadium, the State Farm Stadium, which will be home to the Super Bowl in less than a week, or in a week, I should say. The Super Bowl 57 is happening there, and it is, it looks an amazing stadium, but I can't say anything more because I've not been there. So that is how I will leave it with that one. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, very good. Atlanta Falcons Stadium, watch them play the Chargers. Yeah, it's just fantastic. It really is. It's very big and very much, you can tell it's a modern stadium, and you walk in. Where we walked in, we could watch the players warming up. I remember watching Justin Herbert warm up. And yeah, it was a brilliant experience. And it is a really good stadium to look at. And I met Michael Turner before the game. So that was pretty good. Soldier Field. Now, this is the stadium I was looking forward to the most because I've wanted to go for so many years. I mentioned before that I thought the atmosphere was okay, but I've got to say it underwhelmed me. It really did. And I could see why the Bears fans want a new stadium because, it does not look as good as what we all think. And it is a shame because it is a fantastic historical stadium. And it is a shame that they are getting rid of it. But at the same time, it wasn't anything special. I was really underwhelmed by it. So for me, it goes in naff. Ford Field, I'm putting this in. I'm going to put it in. It's between these two. Very good and average. Went there for Thanksgiving. Watched Lions take on the Bills, and that was a good experience. The stadium was very good. I'm gonna put it in very good. It was a really cool stadium. It was, it was horrible to walk around in terms of trying to get to your seat. You felt like you were herd cattle, but to be there was really cool, and I think it was a very cool stadium. Cincinnati Bengals. I'm putting this an average. I am, because I think the atmosphere was amazing till the Tua injury when I watched the Bengals take on the Dolphins. But I didn't think the stadium was actually anything special to look at. It was nice, it was big, but I said before, they all are. So nothing really that could blow me away for this one. So average for me. Next one up is another one that I haven't been to yet, the Bill Stadium. Orchard Park. I do plan on going there next year because I made some good friends in Detroit who were Bills fans who went to the game, and I really want to go to a game. Ideally, I want to go see the Dolphins take on the Bills, but it depends on the schedule gods and my availability. So I will hopefully see him play home at some point. It's just a question of which game. Next up is the New England Patriots. I went here in 2019, saw them take on the Chiefs in Gillette Stadium. I'm going to put in very good. I was impressed. It was my first stadium experience in America. That could easily make me, sort of see things differently and be a bit more biased. But for me, it was fantastic. It was cold. I've never been as cold in my life, but for a stadium, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And yeah, you walk around the stage beforehand, and you walk. Remember walking with friend of the show, friend of the channel, I should say, Sean, and yeah, yeah, it was a good experience walking around there, and then you go to see it, and it is really cool. And we had really comfy seats where we were. So for me, yeah, this one goes in very good. The fourth installment of the elite category goes to the New Orleans Saints, the Superdome. This for me was fantastic. It really was. I mean, it's a stadium that everyone knows what it is. You can see it from miles away. We got there on the what day was it? It was on the Saturday, I believe, or the Friday. And you get an Uber to your Airbnb, and what you see along the way is the Superdome. It's like a spaceship. It's very similar, I think, to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the UK in terms of just being randomly out of nowhere, just in this city, and it's just fantastic. And you go into it, and it's just you instantly go in there, and it blows you away instantly. It really is one of the best I went to. It's the players walk out, and it's one of the best I've seen for player entrances. It's just a fantastic stadium, and it really is one of the best. So yeah, for me, can't put anything else but elite. MetLife Stadium, home of the Giants and the Jets. Watch the Jets take on the Bears in late November in a very rainy day in New Jersey. But gotta say, I put it in average. It was not bad at all, but it was not special. And it was good to experience, and I want to go there again because I want to go to New York, and I love New York so much. But yeah, I'm not expecting when I come back to be any better. I don't know whether because it's the Jets, not the Giants. Maybe that was the reason why. Same with why maybe the Rams. I think it was the Rams went to the Chargers. Maybe it'd be different if I did that. But yeah, I think overall very much average. Now, Baltimore Ravens, my fourth installment of the not available category. But I do plan to go here because I'm going to also plan this year, well, next season, but this year, to go to Philadelphia and see the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium, which I've not yet been to. So this one also goes in not available. But of course, with this stadium in Lincoln Field, Financial Field in Philadelphia, it's only an hour and a half train from M&T Bank. And also it's not too far from the Commander Stadium. So for me, I can see myself. I want to go to Philadelphia anyway. So my plan is at the moment next season, and I will do some vlogs on the channel, is to stay in Philadelphia, get a train to Baltimore one day, and come back for a game, and do the same thing as Washington, because I think these one would be excellent to experience and get some more stadiums ticked off my list. And I'm hoping, if all things go to plan, that I'll be able to say at the end of next season that I have been to all 30 stadiums in the NFL for a game, and I think that'll be something that I really want to achieve my lifetime. Next up, Pittsburgh Steelers. Very good, very good. I think it was the best stadium by a country mile for your walk into your seat, because most stadiums, they have their museums in a separate part of the stadium, but you walk into the stadium, you get through the gate, and you're walking towards the escalator to get to your seat. We were quite high up, but as you're walking through by the drinks and the food stalls, what you do see is Super Bowl trophies. You see worn jerseys by the likes of Dan Marino at Pittsburgh when he was in college there. You see so much history, and you see the history of the team. So as you walk into your seat, so you're getting a feel for the team as you're walking towards your seat. It's just brilliant. I think that's a really cool addition that I've not seen any of the teams do. It just makes you instantly just respect the organization and respect the history and respect their success in the past. And it was a very cool stadium. But in terms of the actual seat itself, it was very cool. But I wouldn't say the actual view from your seat was elite, even though you do get to see Pittsburgh from your seat and the skyscrapers and all that. Now, Bank of America, I'm putting it in naff. I'm really sorry, Panthers fans, to say this. The one stadium I almost left in, but that was because of the weather, not because of the stadium, how it looks. But it just didn't blow me away. And I will say it wasn't anything special for me. And I will say, actually, it was a bit rubbish in that sense. Cool to go to, because I've always wanted to go to that stadium after watching All or Nothing with the Panthers. But for me, it was definitely an underwhelming stadium experience. Next up is the Seattle Seahawks. Went to Lumen Field, my first stop of my 3-month trip. Saw the Seahawks take on the Falcons. They got the win. And for me, it was very much elite. The atmosphere was elite and the stadium was elite. Seattle was my top 3 places to go to, just full stop. And the stadium itself was fantastic. I was in the bit with the 12s. I was in almost like a diehard section of the stadium, and it was fantastic. And it was really cool because you know it's big, right? So it's a big stadium, and you expect sometimes big stadiums. I got to say, the where has it gone? The Falcon Stadium was big, but there wasn't as much character. But this one had so much character, and it was really cool. And it was just so big, but it didn't also blow you away by being too big. You felt like still you were in amongst the fans. For me, it was fantastic, and it really is a cool stadium. Now, my final three, my final one that I've not been to yet, the Levi Stadium. But again, I'm in San Francisco in September, and I'm hoping its schedule gods are good to us. But there will be a game going on in San Fran that weekend, and of course, we arrive, I believe, on the 4th, which will be 4 days before our arrival in LA, but I think we arrive in San Francisco towards the end, so about the 18th or 19th of September. So I'm hoping we're there for a week, for the Thursday to the Monday, or I think it's a Monday to the Thursday. So I'm hoping that we can catch a game there, because it's a stadium that I just remember thinking, wow, this is amazing. But I didn't do it on the trip because I knew I was going to San Francisco later on in the line. So for me, yeah, one of my bucket list stadiums, but I do plan to go there at some point. Buccaneer Stadium, Raymond James, average for me. Yeah, nothing more I can say. I think this was the most the mid-tier stadium I've been to out of all of them. Mid atmosphere and very much an average stadium to look at. Quite cool from the outside, but inside, yeah, nothing to blow you away. And then our final team of this video is the Tennessee Titans. Very good for me. I say it was more average and elite, but for me, it goes to very good. I thought it was really cool. Obviously, I've spoken about this many times before. I love Derrick Henry, and it was really cool seeing him warm up before the game and doing all that. Then in the game itself, yeah, it was cool. It was very good. I must say, it was really good, and definitely a underrated stadium, I think, in the NFL. I think doesn't get enough credit where it deserves when it comes to the better NFL stadiums in the league. But this is my complete list, so do let me know in the comments what you think of this tier list. And yeah, we will be back for a third installment of this tier list, which will be not so much the stadium, but more how the cities were to travel. So, you've had the NFL stadiums for atmosphere and aesthetically. We are now going to do a third installment, which if you're watching and you're someone who wants to travel America and you're seeing this video, you will definitely get a good insight of where it's good to visit. Because look at even these stadiums here that I've not yet been to. Certainly Buffalo is one that I know. I went around. Washington and Cleveland, the ones that I visited, but didn't go to a game into those two as well. Obviously, these lot will be not ones I can say I've been to, but in the future, I hope I can do this again and give my take on those ones. But yeah, that has been the end of this video. Please do comment, like, share, and subscribe to all your friends. And yeah, we will see you guys next time.